out the future wife part just in case my wife sees this podcast.
I will not. That will be left in here. That will be left in here. And this will be the disclaimer before you hear anything else. Before you even hear the on episode, you gonna hear that first. Can we please delete this? That's how it's gonna start.
Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, that's awful.
You definitely gotta edit that out.
I'm not. That is awful. All right, we're back with the nameless, aimless, painless show.
Absolutely.
We're here to discuss the movie that was just released within the last 36 hours, 48. 72.
Jesus Christ! Did you just crawl out of hell, man? You sound like you don't want to be here, bro. What's going on?
What do you mean? I'm trying to get an idea.
We're just gonna talk about this thing right here. You need some more enthusiasm, bro. This movie was great.
Okay. Yesterday we went to go see The Monkey, directed by Oz Perkins. He was in the movie too. Who was Chip?
I don't remember a Chip, bro.
Was it the uncle? It might have been the uncle. Was it Uncle Chip?
The freaky ass uncle.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we're swingers.
We're gonna do the best we can. It's just not gonna be good.
You're right. He's like, we're gonna do our very best. As long as you don't mind that our very best is pretty bad.
What would you even call this movie? Like a horror comedy? A horror com. We'll call it a horror com.
It was clearly a horror com if you watched the trailer carefully, like most people should, but I did not. I just saw blood and assumed it was a horror film, so I don't know why. But within the first few minutes, they got to it, didn't they?
Immediately, bro. Immediately.
Adam Scott, the guy from Step Brothers, that's little brother Derek. That's all I ever see him as. Seeing him pop up in there was funny because they got straight to it. Like most of the time, there's some, like, yeah, you'll see a death early on in a horror film, but in this case, it was more so, we just want you to know what's going on. Like, he literally just explained what it does.
Yeah, it was really, this is it. This is the movie.
This is what you don't want. This is what you want, and you take this from me, and don't ever call it a toy. Which they made that to be a point, but it never really.
Several times.
Yeah, but it never was once where they talked about it being a toy and they like got mad because of that and then killed somebody.
I think it just spoke to its pettiness, bro, because that was a petty ass toy. That was a petty ass toy.
Going in, I thought it was just all horror. It clearly was not just all horror. This shit ended up being, I gotta watch my language. It ended up being,
Yeah, we can get canceled before we even do our first episode. First off, I will say, before we even start, what would you rate it out of 10?
I give it a 7 out of 10. Maybe an 8. Because it's definitely something I can see myself rewatching. There's some funny points in there. I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. What would you rate the movie?
See, I probably would still give it about a 7 out of 10. Like, it's great, but I feel like it has no rewatch value. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for me, like I said, it's an experience. It's one of those movies that you experience that first time, and then it just stays there in your memory. And it's just, you go back, and every time you go back and think about it, it's really good. But if you try to rewatch it again, it's like, this is awful.
Which I think is actually perfect for Halloween. Like, that's something I could see myself watching every Halloween, just as tradition, or every other Halloween. But I mean, it was all ridiculous. All of those kills were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why they call her Babysitter Annie? Was Babysitter her first name and Annie was her last name?
I don't even know.
Because they went out of their way to like make that known. Like, if my plumber came over, I wouldn't go.
It's Plumber Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that.
No, they had some really creative kills. It was goofy. It was almost like Deadpool say something funny or kill, look at the screen kind of vibe, but
yeah,
it was good. It was good. I enjoyed myself. The older twin was a dick, bro.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And I like how early on they established that to be, and there was literally no reason for it. It was just, I'm 3 minutes older than you. That just went to his head at some point.
No, but yeah, that definitely stood out. Just how crazy he was, bro. And he had no rhyme or reason for acting the way that he acted, like, at all.
Having brothers, I don't think I'd ever go that far with my younger brother, but my older brother felt right at home. Some of the stuff, like calling each other dumbass or whatever, every single time you want to acknowledge that was a little crazy. One of the non-horror kills that turned out to be a hypothetical kill still somehow got a reaction out of me. Who's your favorite kill? Or favorite death, I should say. Because there is no killer, if you want to be technical. There's no killer. That's even great. That's great. There is no killer.
Shit just happens, bro. Like there's some deity just pushing shit and just like it's. You know what?
It's
The
like
killer-
Jigsaw built the monkey to go out in the world and create Final Destination
I was just
scenarios.
about to say that this is a sequel to Final Destination. It's the same spirit from Final Destination, and what it's doing is for all the deaths that it lost, it's going back and randomly killing people. Yeah, I think my favorite kill is from the aunt, bro. The Rube Goldberg type kill. Like everything just led to everything else.
It literally was a Rube Goldberg type kill. Rube Goldberg. There really were steps to it. And again, a lot of those kills, for them to happen, a lot of physics had to just not exist.
Like
Go unnoticed.
Like, in no fucking way, spoiler alert, there's no way it can't spoil this. No way the chef chopped her whole head off. No fucking
that's
way,
one.
bro.
That's one. Two, nobody's head catches on fire. Just the head.
Bro.
Those flames will spread, especially when you're clothed. I'll give it to you. Maybe if you naked and like your hair is on fire, but still, like, no. A good detail, by the way, I would like to point out, I'm still not sure if it's CGI or not, but her hair caught on fire and there were burn marks across the ceiling as she ran out of the house
That's dope.
because the flame was just that tall. And the next day when they went to the house to go look, that those marks were still there on the ceiling. I'm like, good attention to detail. A lot of spontaneous human combustion.
Oh, yeah.
Like when the girl dove into the pool, just
That made no sense. That, like, electricity can do that? From an AC unit?
yeah. Had it been like a dry rug that she walked across and then dove in, that'd still be
That would have
ridiculous
been
too.
even more ridiculous,
But you
bro.
still go, okay, electricity, whatever.
No, bro, no.
Like I don't even think any part of her body actually got in the water. It was just on
the
contact.
tip of her finger.
It was like a minefield. It was like mines in the ocean. Those Japanese mines is on contact.
She
That was bad.
dipped a toe.
She dipped the toe, and the whole leg went flying at him. Had he been standing just a little bit closer, he would have been through.
Man, he got it the worst, bro. The finger in the mouth from the explosion or from the shotgun.
He took that out of his mouth?
I think it was in his mouth. It might have been his head.
Because I know he was gagging when he looked at the remains. And the uncle, he got trampled with 67 horses.
Bro, what they say?
And they
was
opened it up.
cherry pie.
Yeah, he said like, it's like when you leave ground meat out too long and the juices start to leak out.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah, like why would you even open it? Like what are you gonna get, vitals? Leave it closed. Just bury the entire sleeping bag in the casket. If you would like to buy a
Just throw the
casket.
sleeping bag in the casket.
I would, but you know, to ease people, you don't want to hear the liquid slushing back and forth in there when you.
The craziest thing, though, bro, is just the monkey being petty, bro. Like he was like, "Kill this man." No, I'm not doing that. You know what? I'll kill everybody else. I'll kill everybody else instead.
It's funny, getting philosophical here. They spoke a lot on like the monkey being the representation of the devil in so many words.
Yeah.
It's almost like that always happens anytime man gets in contact with something that seems divine or has like this infinite amount of power, and they try to put their will on it, and the deity is always like, no.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of those situations.
Yeah. Middle fingers to everybody, bro. Because they really started with the premise of whoever turns it is immune until it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually got proved to be true or not.
Well, we know it's not true because the twin.
Was he the last one to turn it?
No, not the last one to turn it. It was supposed to be whoever turned it was nuts. Because remember, I don't think the dad died.
Oh, so you saying at any point?
That's what I thought. At any point, whoever turned it, I thought that they were safe.
See, that's interesting. I took it as that turn specifically. You saying anybody to touch the key at any point to turn it even once, you just off the hook.
Yeah, that's what I thought before
Right.
the older brother died.
Right.
And then once he died, I'm like, okay, that doesn't work.
You know what? To add to that, had he not had reflexes, or had he just had stepped 1 foot further when he was standing by the pool when he was on the phone with his brother, would that have killed him or not? Or was him dodging it part of the monkey's will in the first place? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's another thing I kind of want to get into. Like, what is it? Like, is it a demon following the monkey? Is it a cursed object? It has to be some sort of intelligence behind it.
Yeah, and I would like to know how much they changed from the novel is based on, or the short story is based on,
Yeah,
to the actual film. because it just seems like to me he just believes there's evil in the world, and not all of it can be explained, but it's there. I don't know if he's that vague of a guy, but that's my interpretation.
Have you seen Pet Sematary?
No, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Kind of similar, I would say. But no, I would definitely, like, if they do a second movie, I would definitely like to know more of the backstory of the monkey. And one, why he's so petty. Two, what's the extent of his powers? And like, three, where does he come from? How was he created?
I also want to know where the monkey came from.
Why did it bleed, bro? I feel like that was significant, but it kind of went over my head.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot about that. It does bleed. That was interesting. Well, you know what?
It's just been oil from it having to move and hit the drum.
Right.
But even still, like, they significantly showed you that, like.
But as dark as it was, I'm thinking it might have been blood. But it was so dark you couldn't really tell, which is a good choice, I would say, on their part.
Yeah, that's true. And I will also want to know, like, why does it follow a family? Like, what's significant about keeping it within the certain bloodline? Like,
Well,
is their bloodline connected to the monkey, or is that just a coincidence that it just decided to follow that family?
Okay, two things. One, they touched upon the fact that we inherit this from our father, and then when it came to his son, he was like, we just gonna hold it tight, and own it as our own, and hope that it doesn't damage anyone else. So of course the movie was sort of a metaphor for dealing with inherited trauma and inherited negative aspects of whatever your parents went through, and whatever that added to your upbringing and how you behave in the world now. Second, you made the point that the brother made a point of something that you wanted to believe or you thought was true, but then got proved to be wrong. So him saying that it's attached to their family, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it could be, because it did target the babysitter. She did nothing.
Yeah, the babysitter did nothing but exist.
But they also touched on the fact that on the box it read
Like life.
like life. So it don't really matter how good of a person you are, how bad of a person you are. Whatever happens to you just happens to you.
But it chooses who it wants to kill. And what's the basis? It's just, oh, well, that person's there. Let me just kill him.
Well, the fact they kept it so vague is why I like it. They didn't give us all the answers. So there is room for a sequel. I'd like to apologize, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an after credit scene. I'm pretty sure.
We sat there for a minute, maybe 2 minutes after the credits started rolling. But then everybody left, and I was like, you know what? What are the odds? We leave, go to the bathroom, we head for the front door, and you like, oh wait, my hat. So I go in the bathroom looking for it. You go back to the theater, and you like, the scene literally ended.
All I heard was a scream, and then like the scream went off, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. Yeah, so 100% it was a great movie, great experience. Take the kids to go see it; they'll love it.
That first kill, when the guy got harpooned, and then they retracted it, and all the intestines just came out. It should have been like blood splatter at the hole. It was just a dry intestine coming out. Maybe not. I don't remember. I only saw it once.
Just have a piece of shit fall out.
That would be hilarious. It's an unfinished piece of. That is awful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But why did the movie touch on like deadbeat dad so much, bro? Like that was a constant thing that came up. The guy who wanted to take the monkey, his dad was a deadbeat and left him. They never explained what happened to the dad. All we know is that when the monkey killed the salesperson, that he dropped off the monkey back at home and then left. So
He tried to get rid of it.
he tried to get rid of it and left.
He tried to get rid of it at the pawn shop. When that didn't work, he took the flamethrower to it. They never showed if he dumped it anywhere or the box ended up there. So maybe he gave up. Maybe it killed him. Well, it couldn't have killed him because he gave it back to them. So
Yeah, and then he left, and nobody turned it until
That is
the older
interesting.
brother turned it.
that's interesting.
So, and that's another thing. How long does it last? Does it like one kill per turn? Like it can't kill unless it's turn? Like what's the premise? Like what's required for it to activate?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's always one person, right?
It said one person, but I guess it's how many times it just hits the drum in that
Yeah.
one turn. So
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Because when they've got that plane went down, and the very last scene we saw, the cheerleaders hanging out of the window, all of them went at once. So maybe the more you use it, the more people die each time. I don't know. It's an interesting premise, and it was vague enough to not ruin its own lore. That's dope.
I'm like 50-50 on that. For example, I'm a big Jeepers Creepers fan. And I think part of the reason why I liked it was because they didn't 100% go exactly into the lore. And then it was a great story within itself. And then when they tried to go into the lore, in the last two movies, they just completely ruined it. Like, I think the one before last, they was like, oh, it's this primordial being and da-da-da-da. And they started to get into what it was, and the movie ended. And then the newer one was just awful. They was like, oh, it's this demon and witchcraft and this. And I was like, bro, what are y'all doing? So part of me wants to know the lore behind it, but like, I don't want that to risk just how good it already is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, by giving a terrible, shitty backstory.
So we both give it a 7 out of 10.
And I give it a 7.
Just some loose ends to cover here. I didn't know She-Hulk was the mother. It's one of those faces you look at and go, I know her. And when they walked out with the babysitter, I was like, oh, that's She-Hulk. She's actually kind of funny.
She can actually act. That's, who would have thought, you know?
With good material, you know?
I was gonna make a point. I think they could have chose a better actor for the mom instead of She-Hulk. It's not that I hate her personally. It's just that
You hate her.
I don't hate her as a person. I hate She-Hulk as a whole. So there's that. But I think my future wife, Aubrey Plaza, I think she would have made it perfect. She would have been perfect for that role, bro.
She-Hulk is 100% discount Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
Oh, I stand on that. Oh, I still hit, but oh.
It's just whatever she's in, bro, she just kills it. Like, I haven't seen anything with Aubrey Plaza that wasn't good. I stand on that. Can we edit out the future wife part just in case my wife sees this?
I will not. That will be left in here. That will be left in here. And this will be the disclaimer before you hear anything else. Before you even hear the fucking on episode. You gonna hear that first. Can we please delete this? That's how it's gonna start.
Jesus.
Yep.
Well, I hope this works out because the alimony is gonna be crazy.
Vicious. Hey there, Khalid here. You just heard me talking like no more than 5 seconds ago. So listen, I just got to the end of this video, editing it, and I realized we don't have an intro or an outro. So if you like what we're doing here, like, share, comment, subscribe, and fuck off.